But we are really excited. We have a new panelist here with us today to talk about a movie that just came out, Free Fire, starring Brie Larson. Let's get right to it. Let's introduce our panel. On my far left, I have Mr. Manning Franks here, in between studying for final exams. Manning, say hi.
Hi, everybody. Brie Larson, all I'm going to say.
All right, next to him, we have, I told myself before the show, we have Mikey. Clarify for me how to pronounce the last name.
It's Brzezinski.
Okay, there's an extra Z in there that confused me a little bit. Mr. Mikey
confuses everyone.
Nice having you here, sir.
Thank you for having me on. I'm so glad that I can talk about Free Fire finally after 7 months. So
yes, Mikey is the person who you go to, so that he can actually not tell you about all the movies that he saw way over here. And next to him, we have the captain. We have DeVaughn Taylor here.
Hello.
We have Michael K here because DeVaughn is, I'm not quite sure where DeVaughn is. That's why we're starting late. Hi, DeVaughn, if you're watching this on rewatch. Where were you? So fun to be here. We have a smaller panel today, just due to it being finals week coming up and everyone's life getting chaotic. But we get to talk about one of the most anticipated movies for so many of us all year, Free Fire. Manning, you are the designated general of Brie Nation, so why don't you kick us off? What did you think of Brie, of Free Fire and Brie Larson?
What did I think of Brie? That's what I heard first, so yes, I will tell you how much I love Brie. No, Free Fire, I've been excited for this ever since I've heard about it. I have never seen a Ben Wheatley film before, at least to my knowledge, I have not seen one. So this was sold based upon me for my love of Brie Larson. I saw it today, not a few hours ago, for the first time, and it met all of my expectations, almost exceeded them, but it met all my expectations with flying colors. I enjoyed it. It was a fun ride in the theater. A great small indie film that you don't really see much nowadays, where it's in real time. There is no, we're jump cutting or to a whole nother section, or, we're to a few days later, a few hours. This takes place in a single time frame, and it was glorious to watch. Everyone was great. The soundtrack was really fun. It's an overall enjoying film, and I'd recommend it.
All right, Mikey, I'm going to come to you last because I want to get more into your experience seeing at the festival and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, Michael, tell us about Free Fire. Tell us what you thought.
Oh my God. Free Fire and a movie that we'll get to later are both tied for my #1 movie of the year. I had so much fun. I had so much fun with this movie, with the cast. Armie Hammer and Charlotte Copley are the highlights. As far as Ben Wheatley goes, I have seen all of his films, and this is probably my either second or third favorite. Kill Us is still his #1, but just in general, I love his dark comedic timing. I love the violence. I love how this is like a very confined movie set in primarily one location, and the action is very down and dirty, and just the characters are so much fun. They're not particularly likable, but they're interesting and witty enough that you can get on board with the action. So you should definitely go see it, because the fact that it made only $1 million at the box office is pathetic.
That's travesty.
A little bit of a disappointing weekend. I was going over those numbers earlier. So
all the movies this week made butt. Yeah. That's not good.
Except Fate of the Furious, which got everything.
We'll get to that later. Mikey, take us back to what? September, October?
September, yeah, it was early September. So
flashback time.
Free Fire was the opening night Midnight Madness movie for TIFF last year. It was the first movie, and Midnight Madness is, they just play like messed up movies. That's what Midnight Madness is at TIFF. They play either horror movies or action movies, but the crowd is always amazing. Everyone's so into it. They laugh, they clap, they cheer. It's a really good time. So I actually originally wasn't supposed to see Free Fire. I ended up not getting tickets, and then at the last minute I got the tickets to it, which was awesome. And yeah, so I waited in line for like 90 minutes, and the great thing about it is I didn't have expectations. really. My expectations were built off of Ben Wheatley as a director, who's I like, but has been mostly hit or miss for me. But I only had a brief description on the TIFF website and then one still image, which was the image of everyone sort of like walking in a very stylish manner. There was no trailer or anything. So watching it when you read the description and you basically hear that it's just a shootout for 90 minutes, it crossed off everything that I wanted it to be. It was everything that I wanted it to be. And it was just fun. And it has a sick, nihilistic sense of humor that I love about it. It's so funny to me. And even on rewatch, I was pissing myself laughing through the entire movie. So I actually kind of feel weird giving it a 5 out of 5, because if you look at my Letterboxd page, I've only given like 84 perfect scores out of like 3,000 movies. And that one just sort of sticks out like a sore thumb, because it just doesn't fit in, but it was literally everything I wanted it to be. And it's one, I'm so glad that movie exists. So I guess that's sort of my experience with it.
Well, yeah,
No, if I can interject in there.
Yeah, Manning.
Oh, if I can interject in there too, saying, you mentioned it had this sick, twisted sense of humor, this nihilistic sense of humor. I would definitely agree with that. While I wasn't gut-busting laughing as I was with, like, one of my favorites, like Holy Grail, or a movie we'll get into a bit later in this conversation. It definitely had this. It wasn't trying to be funny. It just kind of like presented itself, these characters, as kind of, they gave a witty one-liner, and then they had a response while they were hiding for cover. This was a very, strangely enough, realistic almost type of movie. It wasn't like you didn't have Keanu Reeves kind of going like maybe slow mo, or you didn't have any Point Break style action battles. This felt very much like someone got shot. I'm out for a good 10 minutes or so. Just take, you guys go on. And it felt real, because the characters, I didn't think there was a standout for me personally. Everyone felt like they balanced each other perfectly. There was no one person that was like, oh, you were miscast, or oh wow, you're the best person here. To me personally, it felt like they were all perfectly cast, and they all had their highlight moments. Well, almost all of them had their highlight moments, but the time they used was used effectively.
Right. And well, to me, I love that really realistic sense of humor in movies. That to me is really funny. And stuff like someone getting shot like 20 times and passing out from the pain in the middle of a gunfight. Like, that's so funny to me. And there's a gag. I don't want to spoil it for anyone watching, but there's a gag involving a van towards the very end of the movie.
Oh, no.
I still have yet to find anything this year where I laughed that hard. That to me was funny. And there's a line that Army.
Was that the very last?
Yes.
With the,
and Army Hammer has a line right after that happens that still kills me. I'd rewatch. It's so funny.
What did he say? I totally forgot.
We'll get to that in the post.
It's a bit of a spoiler, so I don't want to get into
Okay. I don't remember what he says there, but that part in particular, I had to walk away because that goes back to my idea of horror, because I can't. I'm not. Never mind. You know what? Not gonna say much for the spoiler because that was too much for me.
But
I loved it. I still loved it.
I know that the characters don't have depth. I didn't expect them to have depth with a runtime of 90 minutes. But they had personalities.
Actually, it was like 85.
Yeah, something like that. But they had personalities. They had distinguishable personalities, which is enough for me. That was something with like Kong Skull Island. Kong Skull Island is epically flawed, but it's enjoyable because the characters are at least enjoyable. I think they're not deep or anything, but it's not something like Rogue One where I felt like they needed to be deep. It's just fun. They're just good personalities.
It makes it easier.
Exactly. Like Sharlto Copley is relentlessly entertaining in that movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the fact that the characters were entertaining enough made up for the fact that they didn't have depth or something like that.
That you can chalk up to great casting. Like every single one of the those actors is like, oh well, of course they'd play that character.
Right. Yeah. and the thing with Brie Larson is that like she's the least funny person in the cast probably, but she's supposed to be the voice of reason. She's the level-headed one that just
Yes.
goes, "Why don't we all just calm the fuck down? This is
Yeah.
stupid." Like, and as I wrote that in I wrote 2 reviews on Letterboxd. The whole movies, each character walks in and they have this confidence. They're all cocky. They don't really like one another.
Mhm.
And the whole movie is really, it's not a gunfight. It's a dick measuring. They're trying to just be like, "No, I'm bigger than
That
you."
is very true.
And then you just have Brie Larson in the corner just going, "Ugh, men." Like, what?
Men.
What's,
Oh,
like,
men.
yeah. And I like
that was great.
Yeah.
That was an absolutely great line. And
Oh,
it feels to me. Oh, wait. Jonathan, you were going to say something?
Go right ahead.
We're all praising this movie for being like super realistic. Well, guess what? Ben Wheatley's next movie is.
That's what I was gonna go to. Yeah, go for it.
Giant monster crabs, and Alicia Vikander and Armie Hammer have to fight them.
That sounds really good. I'm so down for that.
No way.
It has in production right now.
Especially with Ben Wheatley's just sensibilities, that's going to be amazing. It's going to work
he has in
perfectly.
production right now or in development. The movie Michael just said called Freak Shift. He has a movie called Hard Boiled coming out, which is not a remake of the John Woo, but it is.
It's based on a Frank Miller comic book.
And his other movie that is in production is called, and I quote, "Mega Evil Motherfuckers."
Perfect.
And it is a stop-motion animated film.
What?
And it sounds...
That's perfect. He needs to do stop motion. That's amazing.
Yes.
That's crazy.
I'm so paying to see that.
All of these. Jeez. Wow. Okay. Well, we've been singing the praise of this movie a lot. And I didn't give it a 5 out of 5. I gave it like a 4.5 out of 5. Like, it was super close, but there were a couple of times, it might have been me personally, where I felt the editing was a bit off in some cases, because sometimes it was so sporadic or the camera position was so wonky that I couldn't tell who was shooting or what was going on in some places, specifically in the middle, once we got into the big gunfight. And I felt like that hindered my performance. Like, okay, what's going on here? I have no idea. And that kept me lost sometimes specifically. I don't know what you guys felt in that, because I know you guys were 5 out of 5s.
Yeah, well, I felt that was intentional because the whole thing is supposed to just be this great big mess. So, like, the people in the fight don't even realize who's shooting anymore.
Isn't there even a line
shooting.
of dialogue where someone's like, "I don't even know which side I'm on anymore"?
Yeah, exactly. It's like this whole confusion. They're all just kind of lost, but they're only shooting because they don't want to die. So it's that kind of thing. I feel like the editing was intentionally meant to just make it this confusing mess to put you in line with character.
And yeah, I understand. I'm not a fan of that because as like an aspiring editor, I'm like, this is like so too much for me, and I wish they kind of told us at least a bit more. But that was a personal, so I can understand why it worked. When you just said that, I'm like, oh, that makes total sense. It didn't work for me personally, but I understand where that's coming from specifically. But other than that, I can't like fault the movie outside of that much because it's just so it knows what it is, as Jonathan said, and it just commits 100%.
Well, I was reading the negative reviews for it today, and a very common complaint that I saw was that people thought they didn't establish the space well in the first act. But yeah, to me, it felt like when everyone's just sort of crawling on the floor, just pumped full of lead, does it really matter? Like to me, that was just something that I didn't even think about when I watched the movie. So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting.
Before reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 66. So
that's crazy.
It is polarizing. One of the feature reviews on Rotten Tomato gave it a 0 out of 5.
How?
That's crazy. How?
Corn-fed curse words fuel a script that doesn't amount to much more than a hateful snatch of Tarantino's set-bound posturing, spiked with a blend of prima donna, semi-intelligible Guy Ritchie oddballs. Scott Marks, San Diego Reader.
Oh, man.
That sounds like a bunch of blarg.
Yeah, that's a lot of blarg. That's too much blarg for one review.
I do see a lot of Guy Ritchie comparisons in these reviews that are negative.
It's somewhat warranted. I see a lot of Tarantino. I see a lot of Guy Ritchie, but it still is inherently Ben Wheatley to me when I watch it, and especially during the Q&A afterwards, where the entire cast came out and Ben Wheatley was there, and like when you listen to him talk,
Mikey.
but yeah, listening to him talk like that, it's so inherently his work. He has this very dry sense of humor. Someone asked like a dumb question and he straight up called them out in front of everyone in the auditorium. Like it,
Oh wow.
He's a funny guy. And when the moderator of the Q&A asked him like, why did you make the movies? Because he's like, well, one night I was watching an action movie with I think his like wife or just partner was his co-writer, and they were just like talking, and they were watching an action movie and they didn't really like it, and they were like, well, what kind of action movie would we make? So they wrote the script for Free Fire and then made it. Like it was, I like that kind of stuff, because it's just it's not the most important movie in the world, but it's probably one of the most entertaining that I've seen in such a long time.
Absolutely. It definitely brought back shades of...
is a covetable goal. So,
yeah. But yeah, as I was saying, it's definitely oh, I totally forgot what I was going to say now. Oh well, come back to me. It'll hit me in like
it's okay. Michael, any more thoughts you have on Free Fire?
I think we covered pretty much all the necessary ground. Just please, guys, go see this.
Yeah, seriously, go see this.
I beg people all the time, like, if you actually want to see original films, you have to, go see the original films.
Put off Fate of the Furious until next weekend. Go see Free Fire.
Please, it's gonna be there.
Or better yet, wait till Free Fire comes out on Blu-ray and like get people over to your house and like.
Right. Well, that's what I do a lot. I buy all these obscure indie movies like Patterson, which I know you don't feel good about Patterson, Jonathan, but
I can appreciate why people like Patterson.
That's one of my favorite movies of last year, and it just came out on Blu-ray, and I showed it to some friends, and they were like, wow, I actually really liked that movie. And I feel good when that happens, because that movie made absolute ass at the box office. And to know that,
to be honest,
people,
I think if I had seen Patterson in that situation and not after paying $16 for it at ArcLight Hollywood, I would have probably enjoyed it more.
At least you saw it at the ArcLight Hollywood. You got the good stadium seating with the nice seats.
That's true. It just Patterson didn't really use all of the beauty that is ArcLight.
True.
Anyway, before we're breaking away from, we're going into Patterson territory. But anyway, I remember what I was going to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
I remember what I was going to say, and it's regards of this reminded me so much of maybe not precisely, but in a way, The Nice Guys from last year.
Oh, for sure.
This had so many similarities, but it felt distinct in the same way. It didn't have the same type of humor, but it didn't take itself too seriously, which reminded me of The Nice Guys as well too. And had the same, of course, aesthetic. It's satire. Yeah, it is. Not to that same degree as Nice Guys, but it definitely had elements. Satire of the action drama this time, because action movies take place like in these foreign lands. Like for instance, Fate of the Furious that came out this year, which is like all over the place. This is like, no, this is a contained spot. This is what happens in a shootout. No one gets anywhere. This is contained in a single place, and that worked beautifully for that one specifically.
So I think the moral of this is go support original movies. Go see Colossal. Go see Free Fire. There's a lot of good stuff out right now.
And that is the perfect way to bookend that.
May I say one thing? If you're a part of Bree Nation, all you guys right there, guys and gals, go see it. Support Queen Bree, all right? Cool, we're good.
It should be required.
That's all I got to say. It's required viewing.
All right, so now we move on to, I think, probably my favorite part of this every week, our first-time watch reviews. We all saw some movies this past week that we really, we have some strong feelings about that we'd like to get into. Let's start with Manning. Manning actually liked a movie this week, so this is a weird occurrence. Manning, tell us about this positivity you're bringing today.
I think it's the second movie I've liked on here when I've come to talk about one. Or at least, this is actually the first 5 out of 5 that I've given since La La Land, actually. Oh no, scratch that. Captain Fantastic, which moved up to a 5 recently. But
Well deserved.
yeah. Watched it again, loved it. But anyway, beside the point. The 5 out of 5 movie is my quote-unquote start in the Cornetto trilogy. I started with Hot Fuzz because it was free on Netflix. Okay, I know it's not the first one. I know it's not, but I watched it because it's free. I'm a poor college student. I gotta save money. Let's start with this one, and I was hooked from the very first opening monologue by Simon Pegg. When you have all these ridiculous cameos, and then you have, what's the fun fact? Kate Blanchett is the voice of his ex-wife in there, and there's talking, how these banter back and forth, and you have like Bob or whatever his name. He's like, hello. In the background, it's these weird, almost in a way Monty Python-esque type of humor, where they don't take themselves seriously. It's a parody of a genre of a cop genre, of a buddy cop genre, taken to a degree that has just enough heart to make it a movie that I would like to keep watching more than once. I feel like I want to watch it again because I had such a fun time, similar to Free Fire. It knew exactly what it was, and it embraced it fully. There's not a single frame I would take out because the characters were memorable, the environment was memorable, the jokes were memorable, the editing was so good. Oh my goodness, the editing was so good. And as an aspiring editor, I'm just kind of like, I'm like, whew, a little hot under the collar from all that great editing because, it was so, as the kids say these days, on point. So I enjoyed it a lot. It's a great movie. I can't wait to see Shaun of the Dead. But that is a movie I would highly recommend if you love off-the-wall bonkers comedy with just enough heart to see it. So see Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, Michael, what is the best of the Cornetto trilogy?
I would actually say The World's End, which is probably the most unpopular pick. But to me, that movie has such an irrefutable amount of heart to it, more so than I think Hot Fuzz or Shaun of the Dead do.
Ooh.
The soul to that movie is pretty powerful and way more than I expected going into it. Because I remember when I saw that in theaters, I was like, "Oh, it's gonna make me cry!" Like it's
that ending monologue, man.
Yeah,
it's just
no spoilers. No spoilers.
Yes,
but I just
the
love
Cornetto
the
movie.
cast.
There are a lot of monologues.
I like the way that the cast worked with each other in that movie. I didn't expect, because I remember when I saw the trailer for that movie, it looked like just another Edgar Wright movie, and then you go in and it's actually really dark and it deals with some pretty heavy stuff. So it was that's probably my favorite. I would probably say that Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead are sort of tied in place. They're pretty similar. So I have a question for Manning. Was this your first Edgar Wright movie?
No, I've seen Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which I love too.
Well,
I love that film.
Edgar Wright's editing in all of his movies is so good.
Yeah.
And that's his strong suit. And I did not like the trailer for Baby Driver, though I'm still looking forward to the movie. Yeah, I know. That trailer just didn't do a whole lot for me, but I still can't wait for that movie. But I'm always looking forward to how tightly edited all of his, like the action scene specifically, any action scene. The one thing that
I think that The World's End I would call his best edited film, or at least the one I liked the most for his editing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Shaun of the Dead is really good. There's not really a whole lot to be said on Shaun of the Dead that hasn't already been said. And in terms of zombie comedies, I like Zombieland more, which I just watched earlier today. But Zombieland is so good. But the thing that I saw Hot Fuzz for the first time when it came out on DVD because I was a little too young to see it in theaters, but I was so shocked at how gory that movie is, and it's still shocking.
Yeah, it takes a turn you don't expect.
Like what happens to Timothy Dalton at the end still makes me cringe beyond words.
That scene will always be like burned in my brain like forever.
Yeah. But I love Hot Fuzz. I love the Point Break and Bad Boys 2 references in there.
Yes.
That's always so great. Yeah.
What about you, Michael? What's your favorite of the Cornetto?
This is really tough. I think the best story-wise or just from a writing standpoint is Hot Fuzz just because the jokes come flying at you a mile a minute. Like you have to see that film at least like 3 or 4 times just to get every single joke.
Very true.
As far as performances and action scenes, I actually think The World's End is Simon Pegg's best performance.
For sure.
Because of the
psyching me up, guys.
Yeah, the ending monologue is great, but also just the fight choreography I love.
Yeah.
And also just like what I forget what they call the aliens. Were they like the blanks?
Oh, we're gonna stop there. We're gonna stop there because that's
oh, spoilers.
We're gonna go.
Anyway, yeah, World's End, the best peg, but Hot Fuzz is the best overall package.
Well, there we go. We have gone. That's a teaser for Baby Driver, which is coming out soon. Mikey, you had a first-time watch that you want to talk about. Let's go with that.
Yeah, I watched this really, really obscure indie drama called Daddy Longlegs, or also known as Go Get Some Rosemary. It's directed by the Safdie brothers, which are Josh and Ben, who directed Heaven Knows What, which is a really underrated movie from 2015 that not a lot of people saw. They're sort of like this. They make movies that are super realistic. They're like John Cassavetes if he was a heroin addict. Like Heaven Knows What is sort of like a really it's like a millennial version of Trainspotting that's super dark and a little too realistic. But Daddy Longlegs is about this guy who comes to see his kids, and he's like the fun dad. It's sort of like Mrs. Doubtfire, but super depressing. And he has to decide whether he wants to be like their friend or their father. And it's hard for him when he's sort of this fun personality, but he has to decide whether he wants to keep being that fun person or the person that has to enforce rules and make decisions and be an adult in front of his kids. It was significantly harder to watch than I thought it was going to be, just purely based off like what I read about it and like the cover art. But I saw Heaven Knows What before it, and I should have guessed that it was gonna like emotionally drain me for 90 minutes. So and I watched that because someone wanted to watch it in a Rabbit chat, so I watched it with them. And the Safdie brothers have a movie premiering at Cannes this year called Good Time with Robert Pattinson. I'm really looking forward to that. And I would highly recommend that everyone go check out Daddy Longlegs and Heaven Knows What. Daddy Longlegs is on Amazon Instant Watch, and Heaven Knows What is on Netflix. They're really difficult watches, but they're like really good, like cultural pieces. It represents New York culture in this modern era better than I think most movies do. So that would be my choice.
Heaven Knows What on Netflix then, like right away, because
Yeah,
that's awesome.
do it, but just be ready. It's so hard to watch it, but it's worth it.
I'll wait till after
Alright,
finals.
and
then.
Michael, what was your choice this week?
Okay, so this weekend, Mark Webb's newest film, Gifted, finally expanded and came to my theater. And yeah, tied for Free Fire. This is like one of my favorite films of the year. I put it in that like feel good category. Same with like Chef and Good Will Hunting. In fact, the plot is kind of similar, but different enough and unique enough that you can enjoy it. This is the type of movie that I wish Mark Webb has just makes more often. I will forgive him for Spider-Man 2. That's a Sony that's a Sony problem, not a Mark Webb problem.
It wasn't him.
Yeah. For as far as I'm concerned, that was directed by an alien who happened to be in Mark Webb's body. But in Gifted, all the performances are great. Chris Evans gives probably one of his better performances. He's so much more than just Captain America. He's like he would be A-list if he would be A-list if we were still in a movie star era. Like if this was the '90s, he'd be right up there with Tom Cruise and Will Smith and all those. Like it has a nice balance with like comedy and drama. There's so many great funny scenes like with Mary, the little girl, and the best character of all, Fred, the one-eyed cat. I don't really want to say too much because I don't want to spoil the experience, but just go see Gifted. It's honestly one of the best movies of the year.
Well, there we go. I am going to give a brief shout out to the movie Colossal, which everyone should go see. One of the best movies I've seen in a while. I've seen it twice in 3 days because it's phenomenal, and everyone needs to go see it. So the one thing we're going to do to close out the show, related to Fate of the Furious, the only real recognition we're going to give it because it earned its keep at the box office, so we don't need to mention it here. We are going to play a rousing game of Last Man Standing. Last Man Standing, for those of you who don't know, is a game where we go around in a circle, or rather, the other three go around in a circle because I get to look at the IMDb page. I'm going to give you guys an actor. You are going to name a movie that they were in. We're going to keep going around the circle until someone can't think of a movie. One by one, you will be eliminated, and it will turn into a death match between two of you. The first person to not be able to think of a movie, the other person wins if they can name a final movie. Makes sense? Stole the game from Doug Benson. Right. Doug Benson is super cool. All right, the actor, because his filmography is pretty huge, is Kurt Russell. We're going to go backwards. We're going to start with Michael and go Mikey Manning, and we're going to kick it off right away. Kurt Russell. Michael.
Tombstone.
What? Nice. Okay.
My turn. The Thing.
Bone Tomahawk.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Dark Blue.
Can you say okay? Escape from New York.
Who's next?
You, Michael.
Furious 7.
Overboard.
Big Trouble in Little China.
The Hateful Eight.
What was that? Damn it. I got this. Some Kurt Russell movies. Sky High.
No! It's so Fox and the Hound.
Was he in that? What?
Yeah, he and Mickey Rooney are.
Yep.
Tango and Cash.
Wow. I'm losing this. I can't think of this. He hasn't even been in that many recent movies. All right, I think I'm gonna have to call it. I think I can't think of any more Kurt Russell movies.
Manning, you're up.
What has he been in?
After the Fox and the Hound poll, is Manning about to tap out?
I had no idea that he was in the Fox and the Hound, and now I'm all the.
I remember that. I'm gonna have to tap. Oh wait, I'm gonna guess. I don't know if he's in it because I haven't seen a single one of these. Fast 6.
He is not in Fast 6. Michael.
Then I tap out.
Fate of the Furious.
The one that I thought that no one actually mentioned that I was going to comment on. Yes. No one mentioned Fate of the Furious. Michael, you win. Last man standing. Other movies.
I thought we mentioned. Okay.
Other movies we didn't get to. Deepwater Horizon.
Death Proof. Death Proof was the one that came to me immediately.
Poseidon. Dreamer. Everyone's favorite horse movie.
That was the one
Dreamer. My sister's gonna kill me.
Vanilla Sky.
He was in that.
Stargate.
That movie sucks.
Backdraft.
That's a good movie.
And that's that's basically the extent of it. So,
Is he-
guys, I
uh,
promised Manning that we would get him back to his final studying by midnight, and I kept him out 8 minutes late, so his dad is going to kill me.
It's okay.
Let's one
It's
by
okay.
one plug your social media. Let people know where to find you, Manning.
You can find me if I ever do post anything at _Peyton. And follow all my shenanigans there. But yeah, I'm gonna be posting some YouTube videos in the future, so just check out my channel at Manning Franks. That having to do with certain movie things. We'll see. But you know, I'll see you guys around.
Mr. Mikey Brzezinski.
You can see me in the group sharing my weird, shitty opinions. And then you can follow me on Letterboxd. I write reviews semi-frequently. And if anyone ever goes to TIFF, don't be afraid to PM me, and I will buy you a beer if you come up and talk to me at TIFF. So if you're of age in Canada. So that is a promise, by the way. I will actually buy you a beer.
Mr. Michael K.
You guys can find me at Captain K482 on Twitter. Find me in all the various Facebook groups. And check out my reviews at both Letterboxd, at Coach K482, and geekgamers.com. Thanks for having me.
When are you out of Facebook?
And one more thing.
Oh, I'm out of Facebook jail on Thursday.
Okay, Manning.
One more thing. I want to plug in a Facebook group. A new Facebook group just opened, and it's appropriate for this episode. Bree Bay posting, as we refer to it as, and it's all things Bree for Bree Nation specifically. Just to give a shout out to that group over there. I know you guys watching over there. If you want to join, look us up. We'll accept you. It'll be a fun time.
It's probably the most positive group on Facebook that I'm a member of.
Yes.
And I am Jonathan Youngblood. I am your
You're clearly
host.
not a member of Zack Snyder God posting, are you? Because that's my favorite group.
You know, I was offered an admin position and I turned it down.
Oh no.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun. Go follow us over at Geeks Gamers and on the group Movie Type of Movie Fans. It's been a lot of fun being with these guys today, and thank you for tuning in, and good night.
All right.